Hi everyone, my name is Olubukola Akanbi. Here with me, I have Neve, I have Diana, and I have Shakira. And I just want to say thanks to Elish for giving us this platform to present our presentation. This is our overview of our presentation. We're going to be discussing Irish law such as the Constitution and other legal frameworks. We're going to discuss EU law and its influence on human rights in Ireland, discuss the global laws such as the UN and its impact on human rights in Ireland, application of human rights approach to the work of a social care worker, examples from practice of how human rights is in evidence in social care settings. And we're going to be discussing the impact of human rights on us as a social care workers, and we're going to cite a case of examples of human rights. What are human rights? In order to avoid reoccurrence of abuse against humanity during the Holocaust, the United Nations adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which aims to ensure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Human rights are for everyone, and these were found in international, mainly United Nations, regional, European treaties, and in national constitutions and national legislations. There are 4 elements of human rights: universally agreed basic standards, which aims to ensure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. We have the second one, which says the interdependent and indivisible. And this means that rights are linked, and not protecting one right may impact on another. Example, failure to protect the rights of right to health may affect right to life. We have the third one, which is inherent, which means that it belongs to all without discrimination. And then the principle of non-discrimination is at the center of human rights and features in all of the human rights treaties. We have the fourth one, which says they usually set out in law through international or regional treaties or national legislations. It forms a legal statement of universal accepted principle of how the state should treat as citizens and other people within its jurisdiction. We have Article 7, which says all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discriminations to equal protection of the law. Irish law, constitution, and other legal framework. Warrant and Inherent, the Irish Constitution, is one of the fundamental legal documents that set out how Ireland should be governed and the rights of Irish citizens. This was signed into law in 1937. All legislation passed by the electors must be compatible with it. The Constitution can only be changed by the referendum of the people, and it set out several fundamental rights in Article 38 to 44. Under the Article 42, we have right to education. That is, every child has a basic right to a basic education. Under that, we have Article 40.3, which says right to life. That is, everyone has equal right to live. Under that, we have Article 38.1, which says right to a fair trial. That is, everyone has to be tried at the court of law fairly. And then we have under that Article 40.4, which says right to liberty, and so on. I just want to say thank you, everyone, and I'll be passing on to Neve.
Okay, thank you, Buki. So my name is Neve, and I am going to be covering the human rights framework in Ireland. So the human rights framework refers to all legal and other human rights commitments made by Ireland. These involve laws that protect human rights made at a national level, which includes the Constitution, the European Convention on Human Rights Act 2003, that gave effect to the rights in the European Convention on Human Rights into Irish law, the European Convention on Human Rights, which is also known as the ECHR, under the Council of Europe, treaties under the United Nations such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the final one is the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. So now I'm going to discuss EU law and its influence on human rights in Ireland. So the European Convention for the Protection of Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms, known as the European Convention on Human Rights, the ECHR, is the basis of the European human rights system. It was drawn up by the Council of Europe in the 1950s, but it has been in existence since 1953. It was the first ever regional treaty designed to protect human rights, democracy and the rule of law. All 47 councils of Europe member states signed the convention. The Council of Europe was created in 1949 to protect all human rights, and Ireland is a founding member. Example of rights under the ECHR can be found under Articles 2 to 12. The two articles that I have picked out to discuss today is Article 2, the right to life, which means every citizen has the right to an equal life and to be treated fairly. Article 3 is the prohibition of torture and ill treatment. This is where if you have moved into the country that you are deemed to be treated fairly and there is to be no torture put on you. Other articles of the ECHR are Article 6, which is the right to fair trial, Article 10, the freedom of expression, and Article 12, the right to marry. The influence of EU law on human rights in Ireland. So the European Court of Human Rights was established as a permanent court to deal with individual cases brought before the courts. It deals with individuals whose convention rights have been breached after taking through all possible steps to have these claims dealt with at a national level. States have rights to comply with judgments against them from the European Court of Human Rights. So an example that we have pulled out that was found in a European Court of Human Rights was the O'Keefe versus Ireland 2014. In this case you can see Article 3, which is the prohibition of torture. The European Court found a violation of Article 3 involving a woman who was sexually abused in a primary school. It was found that the state did not have in place the adequate systems to prevent or punish sexual abuse. It was also found that the state had violated Article 13 of the ECHR, as Miss O'Keefe was unable to get a satisfactory solution for the violation of her human rights. So Article 13 was found in this situation because it was the right to an effective remedy, and Miss O'Keefe was not given a satisfactory solution to her situation and was not treated fairly. So now I'm going to pass you on to Diana.
Thank you, Niamh. I'll be discussing the United Nations and its impact on human rights in Ireland. United Nations, it's an intergovernmental body which promotes international cooperation. It has 193 member states divided in 6 principal organs, which include the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948, is the cornerstone of the international human rights law. A system of international treaties were created, which are implemented through supervision, reporting by expert bodies, which might deal with individual complaints too. It's the state's duty to protect, respect, and fulfill rights guaranteed of its people. Ireland is a member of the United Nations, therefore expected to uphold its principles and protect the rights set out in international treaties through its laws, policies, and practices. There are 2 main organs of the United Nations with responsibility for human rights. The first one is the Human Rights Council, created by the General Assembly, and it consists of 47 member states of the United Nations and is mandated to address human rights violations. Currently, Ireland is a member of the Human Rights Council. The second one is the Office of the High Commission for Human Rights, which works to promote and protect human rights by standard setting, monitoring, and implementing. There are 2 examples of the United Nations human rights. I'll give 2 examples. One is Article 5, Equality and Non-Discrimination, and Article 7, Children with Disability. So now I'm going to discuss the application of human rights approach to the work of a social care worker. Social care workers apply human rights approach to their work by upholding fairness, respect, equality, dignity, and autonomy. In dignity, for example, they do this by meeting basic needs, minimizing restrictive practices, communicating sensitively, and maintaining privacy. In regards to autonomy, they seek consent, supporting participation, supporting independent living, understanding and respecting a person's will and choices. Examples from the practice would be the policies and procedures, read, signed, and dated. The second one is fire and safety procedures, for example, evacuation processes and the fire exit. Thank you very much, and now welcome Shakirat.
Thanks, Diana. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shakirat. I'm going to be discussing the impact of human rights on a social care worker. A social care profession is based on principles of human rights and social justice that work to empower individual, group, and community to develop their full potential and well-being. The focus of intervention of a woman of social care worker is the relationship between the individual, their immediate, and the wider social environment, which means as a social care worker, we don't work alone. We are working in a team. We work in a team as in we work with people that are important to our service users. We work with professionals working with our service user. So as a social care worker, our major job is working with people. And at the same time, as a social care worker, it requires a social care worker to uphold human rights in parties. This means that we should respect the right of self-determination, promote the right of participation, and treat everyone in a caring and respectful way. What this means is that as a social care worker, we need to give our service user their right of choice, to make choice, to determine what they wanted to do, as simple as what they would like to eat, where they would like to go, where they would like to be, and what activities they wishes to. We cannot impose anything on our service user, because they have their human rights, and the human right has to be respected. And I'm going to be giving an example of a case example of human rights, which has to do with a man, an Hindu man, is receiving a care in an arcade setting, and his condition is getting deteriorated. The staffs are aware of his belief, which they call, and is dying, and they know they have to consult the family and respect his rights, his belief as an Hindu. The belief is he has to be taken away from the bed and put on the floor when he's on his dying time. The social workers, the staffs uphold the right, the principle of equality, and ensure an religion belief are facilitated and respected. That is, they respected his human rights. They did not take his human rights away from him, as in his belief. That is what he believes on. And the second one is Claire. Claire is the second example is Claire. Claire is an intellectual disability, and he lives in the community. He's attending a vocational education center, and Claire wants to be traveling on its own. He doesn't want any support. She doesn't want any support. And this was the circle of support, which include the parents and the key workers working, the key worker working, and the key worker working with her, and people that are important to her life. They listened to her, and they did not judge her disability. They judged her ability, that she can do it. That is her wish. And in that case, they respected her personal preferences and look at how they can best facilitate her choice. That is, they are giving her a human right, which is not taken away from her. And that's the best we can do for our service user as a social care worker. We are there to uphold and to advocate and to empower them to achieve whatever they want to, where they want to go, where they want to be. And at this, I will say thank you for listening to my presentation. Thanks.